be. Performer, indeed. Started 80 years ago in 1944, initially as a military project for the US Army Air Forces, developing the earlier DC-4 and C-54 Skymaster with a pressurized cabin, greater capacity and more power. Eventually there was no military requirement, so Douglas re-engineered it into the civilian DC-6. It went on in its standard form to be used on domestic and international routes by many. And they could seat up to 89 people. And one real leap forward that was pioneered by the DC-6 came in 1952 when Pan American used it to launch tourist-class transatlantic services. Prior to that, there were no affordable means of flying across the Atlantic. Pan American was the first carrier to make that happen, and it was thanks in no small part to this aeroplane, the DC-6. Many other airlines flew them in their heyday. In Britain, British Eagle and Caledonian flew them. They were also famous being operated by Pan American in West Berlin during the Cold War, before the advent of the Boeing 727. And long after the first jet airliners arrived, DC-6s with their very good operating economics were still favoured by many airlines. Co-founder of the Flying Bulls. What a beautiful, beautiful sight, and the splendid sound of the four Pratt & Whitney. The last airworthy DC-6 in Europe. This was one of the outstanding medium bombers of the war, used across pretty much all theatres. Its most famous operational exploit remains the so-called Doolittle raid against Tokyo and other Japanese cities in April 1942, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle and involving 16 B-25s operating off the aircraft carrier USS Hornet for what was the war's first strike against mainland Japan. Its success in military terms was somewhat limited, but following the Pearl Harbor attacks a few months before, it was a significant morale boost for the US public.